So hello again, this is a new video, and this video I will be talking about Sweden for women. Is Sweden the right country for women? Yes or no? I'm Egyptian. I came to Sweden 10 years ago, and I believe that I have a special experience in Sweden. First of all, I will be always comparing Sweden for a reason or another to Germany. Why? Because Germany, a little bit it's being close. It's a very progressive also country, except lately. And because there is also a good trade between Sweden and between Germany. And of course, both of them are European Union. Of course, we cannot compare the population. Sweden celebrated like 2-3 years ago turning 10 million. Germany is about 70 million now. Will I be recommending, if you have a chance to travel to Germany or to Sweden, definitely I will say Sweden. I will say why Sweden for me. I'm living in the third biggest city. It's called Malmö, which is it is the first city. If you are coming from Copenhagen, you will be meeting. If we come from the airport, if you are in Copenhagen, it will take you 12 minutes to be here in Malmö. So it's very nice, interesting city because it's very close to Copenhagen. Also because of the airport, in case you want to be traveling and so on. Yes. Another thing is that Sweden is very, as we say, it's very snäll. Snäll, which means it's very cute country. What does it mean? I believe for people who are having anxiety, who are very stressed, who are, for example, going through depression, Sweden can be a good country because of the slow pace. Although loads of people are suffering from depression, 1.2, according to one statistics, 1.2 million people are on depression tablets or in a kind of psychiatric medications. But I mean for people who are really stressed about life in their own countries, here everything is slow pace. For some people it's causing depression, yes, and loneliness, yes. But if you are really under the impression or you are feeling that you are already consumed from where you are living from, in absolutely Sweden. But the thing is, life here is not easy at all. What do I mean? It's not easy. People have been drawing or depicting or portraying Sweden as the heaven of everything, and as if you are going to go down to the tree and be picking up money from the tree. This is not true at all. At all. First of all, it's a very expensive country. This is, and definitely Denmark is even more expensive. And also we have a problem with the Swedish krona, it's going down. So for example, now if you want to buy the 1 Swedish krona, equal 100, you have to have 100, it's equal 1.50 Danish, sometimes 1.50 Danish krona. So a Danish krona is much stronger, 50-60% more stronger than Sweden, and we are just how far are we from each other, it's just the bridge. So if you live in Malmö and you go and work in Copenhagen, it will be amazing because you are adding 50-60% to the value of your money. So no, it's not easy. Housing is a crisis. Housing is a crisis. Since the immigration influx that happened in 2015, definitely housing became a crisis, and it has always been a problem, but it got worse and worse and worse. I would say that currently it's much better. But if you are a family of 6, if you are having 4 children, for example, and you and your spouse, and you want 4 rooms flat, like 3 bedrooms, as we say in our countries, and 1 big living room, this is not easy. This is not easy at all. For example, we are 3 people, me and my 2 sons, who are living in a 54 square meter flat, which is a big bedroom, a dressing room, which is supposed to be the storage room, because every flat in Sweden should be having a storage room. But now, because of course companies are trying to save, this is a new production, have been produced almost 7 years ago, so they are saving money, so they have put the storage inside the bedrooms. And what will happen, of course, in this storage, it will turn to a dressing room. So I'm living in a 54 square meter. It's a bedroom, one bathroom, and a living room with an open kitchen. The good thing is that I have my of course, people can be laughing now. What are you talking about? Yes, I have a washing machine. This is a privilege, by the way. Having a washing machine with a dryer is a privilege, because I have been in different flats where you are using the shared laundry room. So this is something, I call it a privilege. And we have the closet in the hallway. And then what happens is that you have to be, for me, I have to be hiring another storage to put my stuff, because when you are changing things with seasons, you have some toys or stuff that you are using, like bicycles or scooter, whatever accessory, you need some stuff that you use it where in the summer or so. There's extra chairs for the beach, you definitely need a storage. Where will you put it? So, for example, I pay rent almost with the electricity and the internet 11,000 Swedish krona, which is about 1,200 euros. And then I pay 120 euros for the storage. Yeah, I will say again, now it's a little bit better in cities to find flats, but most people live outskirts of the city, because it would be a bit easier to be finding flats there. And then they are if they are either working from home or they commute. Okay, for women, is it safe? I have never ever, almost now 10 years, experienced any kind of problems at all in the street, in a cafe, nothing. Swedish people are very respectable and very timid. They need to drink to relax, but they are not aggressive people at all. Did immigrant affect the rise of crime rate? Yes, like any other country. And I will never stereotype certain kind of immigrants, because we always need to remember, if you are, for example, like a refugee, and you are coming to a new country, you are coming with all kind of traumas, and you are, and I'm not justifying it, by the way, I am never justifying crime, but you are having people who are coming from different backgrounds, war have flattened them. They are carrying all kinds of traumas, coming to a country with a very strange language, and Swedish people or Swedish culture is absolutely different from any place in Europe. It's very specific and very different and very complicated. So people are not able to fit in, especially young people. They go in crime. Of course, discrimination and racism lately have played a role for people to be more violent. Yes, but I will say that after Örebro, after Örebro incidents, and Örebro incident is one that happened in February, and it is the worst one in the Swedish history. And it was a white man, Swedish man, who have went to a school that immigrants go there to be studying, and he have shot everyone, not everyone, he have shot people there, and 11 people died. It was, of course, a disgraceful incident. Very quick thing about it, because they said, oh, it's not a terrorist attack. It's an isolated incident, and that he's struggling with mental health issue. Of course, this is the package you are going to be getting when a white person is the one who have committed a crime. But of course, if it was Muslim or Middle Eastern one, then of course it's an organized crime. It is Islamic attack, a threat to the whole world, having Muslims in Europe. But when it is a white person who is killing people in their school, adults, and saying, I want to, he was saying this in the video, one of the videos that was taken for him, we want you out of Europe. And they say, no, it's not a terrorist attack. It is an isolated one. But anyhow, after after this incident have maybe a little bit opened the eyes. The interesting thing, by the way, there was another attack 2 years ago in a school. It also was one of the worst. Sweden never has witnessed something like this. A boy who have stabbed his 2 teachers. By the way, he was also Swedish. That's why I do not want to be racializing the crimes, but there is a rise, and I will say also immigration played a role. Lately, Malmö, unfortunately, is categorized as the worst city in the world with crime. I will say my intake about this for a person who has been living in Sweden, in Malmö for almost 8 years now. Where are you working? Where are you managing your business? What kind of crowd you are with? I never saw any or experienced any kind of problem or threat or feeling insecure. Okay? Never. That's why I always say, yes, there is a crime, there is a big problem with shooting, but luckily recently there is now have been more allocated more budget because Sweden is for tackling crime. Sweden, as I said before, is very special country. They are not used to crimes or to violence or to aggression. They are not used to it at all. The only people that was foreign to them, I mean from Middle East, are the ones who came in the Iraqi war at the 90s, or from Iran after the revolution. And most of these people who were very well educated people, and they integrated much easier than the immigrants that came in 2015. So that's why and they were few thousand, but Sweden was the highest country in Europe according to their population that have received refugees, about 380,000 or between 360,000 to 380,000. Why this data also is not very much confirmed, because they are having people who have not submitted their applications because they know that they are not going to be able, for example, to get the asylum. So that's why, let's say 360,000. So for a country which is 10 million, to be receiving 360,000 is very big number. Another thing about the thing about the crime is we have also to remember what schools you are in. Now, if you are in a vulnerable, like any place in the world, if you are living in a vulnerable area that you call it ghetto, then you are going to be having schools that where the same children that coming from this family are going to these schools. So then, as if you are preparing for new baby small junior criminals. Now they are trying to do more integration in this school. Is it working or not? To be honest, I do not know. I have 2 children, 16 and 6. They are turning 17 and 7. I have been living in absolutely white area, and this will take me to the idea of relationships. I have been married to a Swedish man, very respectable, very good person. I went to live in a white area, very white area. And by the way, I am the one who got this place. It's not him, because in this area it's called Falsterbo. Everyone think, oh, if there is an immigrant, then the white man, the Swedish man is the one who have brought the women there. But let me tell you, I am the one who brought this place, got this place, talked to the landlord, and then we arranged the move and we moved there. So about relationships, I will say that Swedish men, from my experience, they like so much exotic women. You will have no problem finding a man at all, in my opinion. But we need also to remember, for people who are religious, that religion for Swedish people is something like Japanese for Arab-speaking people. Less than 6% go to the church. They have a very bad relationship with the churches, but they do not have a problem with people who are practicing their religion. This was my experience. At the end of the day, everyone has their own experience depending on their personality, their mentality, how they carry themselves in life, about their career, about their education, everything. All this plays a very important role. We have lately, there was a big rise, which is very sad, that men, because men here is having a problem to find women to marry because of the feminism and that a woman wants to be extremely independent and she doesn't want a man to tell her what to do and So they tend now, especially older men, to travel to Thailand or to the Philippines, and they bring back a woman to be living with them during their pensioner time. And I would say lots of them are happy in marriage. Again, of course, there could be abuse like in any other place, but you will not witness this much of abuse to women here, or immigrant women, because women know their right. Plus, the men here, again, I will say, but a little bit of a backstory to this. In Sweden, unfortunately, that Sweden is rated as #1 in incel. And incel are men who are bullying women online and threatening them and objectifying them and sexualizing them. So we are talking about a country that has the highest number of incel. And to happen in Sweden, this is a shock, to be honest. But this also shows how much, I would say, the feminism, this is a backlash to the feminism. But this can be story for another video. So men now go to Asia to bring women, not that much from Africa. I will say why, because as I said, Swedish people are very quiet and they like privacy. They do not like so much to be inviting lots of people, except people that they know very well. It is not common that you are going to be a stranger and they are going to invite you in. I personally didn't ever struggle with this, but I will say it goes back to me being Jasmine. Yeah, I am proud of this and I will celebrate it. But this is not something common at all. So, but African people, they like life, they like people, they like community, they like food, they like dancing. They want to talk over the phone. They want people to be in and out, which is amazing. That's why people in Africa are not struggling with the depression or the mental and psychological problems that they are having here in Northern Europe. So for them, they love the looks of African women, but for them, it's too much. It's too much. So the Asian women are more quieter and more housewife. And we have also never, I'm talking very transparently from what I have witnessed. Asian women tend to stay in the marriage longer than African women. Because maybe we could say that African women that will not accept or is not used to have everything in this order or in this discipline, yeah? They have a casual life. Like, let's say they are creative women who do not want to be in a box. It's easier for Asian women to be fitting in the Swedish box, to be honest. I'm saying this in a very transparent way. What about Middle Eastern? Okay, we need to remember that most of the Middle Eastern women who are living here, they are mainly Muslims. So it's rare to be finding a Muslim woman marrying a Swedish person, except if he reverted to Islam. I am Muslim. I have my ex-husband was not Muslim. I practice Islam 100%. I chose to marry him, yes. There is, of course, lots of controversy about this, but this is what happened. This was a decision I took. I do not regret at all. I have a beautiful son from him. But that's why you will not find lots of immigrant women from Middle East marrying Swedes. So they will be mainly African or Asian. And of course, they can be also a Canadian or other European women. Okay. Sweden for women and work. You have to understand that you have to, if you want to be working in Sweden, you have to learn the language. Yes, Sweden come as #1 with the highest proficiency of English-speaking people. So every Swedish person speaks almost like maybe 99% speak English fluently in anywhere in any sector, yeah, in any town, in any country. But still, you need Swedish. If you have to if you studied Swedish for 2 years very well, you will make it, and then you can be, of course, by then equating your education, or you are going to be having further education to validate your or to accredit your certificate from where the country you came from. But I will say, there's still, of course, there are lots of surveys that have confirmed that according to your name, you will know that if you are going to be getting a job or not. This is a fact. It's there. No one can deny it. But I will not say that. I will have to say, we could not that much talk about work, because when you go and see what's happening, you have to know Sweden is absolutely about nepotism, by the way, very much nepotism. You have to know someone to bring you in this company, yes? So you need the Swedish, even if everyone speaks English. You need to know someone who knows someone so you can start a job. And the interesting thing that most of the places you go to, almost half of the places are immigrant, especially in medicine, of course, transportation, in schools, in shops, everywhere. And I will say something interesting here. For example, I will talk here about Indian and Pakistani. For example, Indian and Pakistani, you can find them working in labor jobs in the UK, yes, or Germany. In Sweden, almost impossible. Maybe I have met less than handful of people who are working labor job, Pakistani or Hindi. Why? Because any people specifically from India, if they are in Sweden, definitely they are working in IT. 100%. They are working in IT or something related to IT. So it's very interesting that it's England is like London is just 1 hour from Sweden. So you can find Indian Pakistan can be working labor jobs in London. In Sweden, you could almost never find it. They will always be working in the high tech. So this is the only way, if you are, or of course, if you are a woman, if you are working in high tech, you do not have to have a problem with the language. You can be having English with no problem. Okay. The thing about social service. Okay, if you are having children, you have to know that social services is absolutely the third member of your family, especially if you are immigrant, and especially if you are Muslims. I have to say, did I struggle with this? No. I had some, of course, relationship with the social services, but it was more of a general thing. I didn't have, but nothing, because at certain incidents they have to report to the social service, the school, or anyone is allowed to be calling the social services. For example, if you are breastfeeding your son for 2 years or 3 years, let's say, a neighbor can call and say, oh, I have just been breastfeeding her son for and now he's 3 years, you can have the social services sending you a letter to say, we have received a letter that you are still doing this, and we are going to be, we want to be meeting you. Let's say you're not vaccinating your children, and you're on social media and say you are not vaccinating them. You could find someone reporting you, and social service has to take action, have to reach you, to be asking you why you are not doing this. So you have to understand that if anyone reports you about anything in the world, the social service have to be contacting you. Okay, the thing with racism and discrimination and everything, me, and this is very sad to say, to be honest, I have never ever faced discrimination or racism in Sweden. Remember, I am Middle Eastern, I am Egyptian, I am Muslim, I am with brown hair and brown eyes, yeah? But the thing is, which is sad, and I am so proud of how I look. I believe that I look so much as an Egyptian because I believe that my jaws or my cheekbones say so. But no one ever, never thought I was Egyptian. Every single person, they think I am Spanish, Portuguese, or from South America, Chile, from Ecuador, or from Venezuela. I don't know how I look like Venezuela. I maybe have 2 or 3 people who thought I would be Iranian. 2 people said I could be Turkish. So anyhow, my looks, I have to say, my looks maybe have played a role, plus how I carry myself in the society. We need always to be remembering this. Have helped me not to be facing discrimination or racism. So I never witnessed it, but my son have witnessed it because he looks absolutely Middle Eastern. So I have 2 sons, one who is from an Egyptian father and another one from a Swedish father. When both of them are next to each other, you could see that the dynamics of things change. Because if you have a Swede, it's different. You could see it in different things. How you could see that this boy, the Swedish one, is going to be having absolutely different future than the one with the Middle East. I will do another video about this, the coming video, completely separately about that. So this is like some of the experiences. Having friends and neighbors. Well, let me tell you, when I was living in Falsterbo, my neighbor, one of my neighbors, so I had a house to the right, house to the left. The one to the left, he was so much full of himself. He was always complaining to the landlord. This is one. The other one, very nice, but if I saw them in the street after 4 years, I will literally not know them. This is how much there is no contact, although the hedge of, we were sharing the same hedge. The one in front of us, we could just say, hey, I don't know even their name. And there was another one that was, so there were 2 houses next to us. We exchanged some words together, but I didn't even know their names. For 4 years. No, 4 years? Or 4 years and a half living there. So do not at all count on having neighbors. Let me tell you a very interesting story about neighbors. I had a neighbor, I had a friend of mine who was coming to visit from France, and I was living in this another house at that time. And there is, when you get out of the house, there is the trash bin to the right and trash bin to the left. He thought that maybe the trash bin to the left is our trash bin. So he threw his the bag of trash inside it. Yeah? Do you think that the neighbor let it go? Okay, maybe you'll think that maybe they are OCD or something, that they have knocked on the door and said, oh, Jasmine, by the way, you have used our trash bin. Although this is a trash bin and this is a trash bin. It's not that a big deal, and it was just a small push bag. They have wrote to us a letter, I swear. They have wrote to us a letter to say that my guests have thrown the trash in their trash bin. Yeah. Okay. The last thing I will talk about is medicine, healthcare. It's a disaster, to be honest. It's absolute disaster. The queuing, the medical care in Sweden is a disaster. The thing, to be very fair, the problem is that you get into the system. So, for example, I have ulcerative colitis. It took us more than 2 years to be diagnosing it, like 3 years. I had a Lebanese doctor who called me on the phone. He said, because sometimes you can go to the doctor and visit or have a phone call. It can be your doctor or a substitute doctor. After all kind of examination and coloscopy and medications, you name it, he said, you have ulcerative colitis. From what I have been seeing, the last 2 years reports, you have ulcerative colitis. You need to go to the hospital immediately. I went to the hospital. I said, I can't go now because I have a small child, and at that time I was separated. I don't know who will be staying with the child, By the way, at that time, the social services can be helping you too. If you have a child and you need to go to the hospital, and let's say you are a single mom, the father is not around, the social services can help in this also, to be honest about. But anyhow, I said, okay, I can go. This was in December. I said, I can do it in January. I went there. I had the best experience in hospital, the best treatment, the best medications, medical care. Why? 2 things. I will always say 2 things. I came into the system. So once you are inside the hospital, things will be much better. 2, how you carry yourself. How you carry yourself. A very quick example. Everyone would say, oh, how are you staying? The hospital was literally overbooked. How do you go to the hospital and stay in a single room? Because I'm just saying. Everyone, like almost everyone, they were 2 in 1 room. I was alone in a room, in suite room with a bathroom inside. Why? Did you pay 1 krona for someone? Not at all. Someone who knows someone that will let you in 1 room alone? Not at all. But when you know how to talk to people. And then there were other people in other room who were saying, oh, they are trying to kick us from the rooms. They do not want us to stay in the hospital because there are lots of patients, And they said, oh, now you can be taking the medications and you can be following this protocol of medications at home. Why are they doing this to us? And they were all Swedish people, by the way. And I have my doctor who was Swedish, who said to me, by the way, Jasmine, we are not going to let you out of the hospital till you are ready to get out of the hospital. Once you are ready, we are going to release you. So this was like a bits of pieces here and there, if Sweden is a good country for you or not. I'm not sure if this was a helpful video, but maybe if you have any questions, anything, you can write it down in the comments. Hey though!